So for today, the one thing I will be reviewing will be the AirPods. What you can see is that I am recording in landscape again. I'm not too sure as to the format that you guys like. You just let me know, be that is horizontal or vertical. Maybe I should actually put up a poll. I've already done that on Twitter. But yeah, as in these would be the AirPods. They cost 169 bucks. I'll probably say that they are the best Apple product that I've owned so far. I've got an iPhone, I've got the Apple Watch, I've even got a MacBook as well. But to be quite frank, at least with the AirPods, you can use them with any device that actually uses Bluetooth. Specifically, so of course, with Apple products, it works a bit better because it's actually quicker to connect. So I'll be showing you guys as to what it looks like when you open your AirPods for the very first time. First thing you see when opening a set of AirPods is, yeah, these are not your AirPods. Of course, these are actually my AirPods. But I'll show you as to how exactly you can go about connecting or what it actually looks like when you're connecting to it for the very first time. Before I continue, just to let you know, the cost of these, it would be 169. So pretty much it's around 6 times the price of the normal earpods. The nice thing about it as well is that I found these to be quite sweat resistant. I run quite a bit, so I end up sweating quite a bit. But I found that at least with these, they've never necessarily let me down compared to the AirPods. I've had several AirPods, and the history has just not been great. I think when the sweat hits the mic, it just stops working. So obviously, hey, I've tried using the Jaybirds. Jaybirds are also a decent set of earphones. Only issue again, Bluetooth. You have to charge those things on a regular basis, and it's got quite frustrating. And then as well, running earphones as well. Those things are nice, but you've also got cables running everywhere. So again, I'll probably just be going through some of the features that you also find with the AirPods when you're using them with a variety of other Apple devices, which I found to be quite useful. What does it look like when you set them up for the very first time? Yeah, just that easy. So, for instance, compared to the UE Row video, I recommend that you also check that out. It requires you diving into a whole lot of settings or whatever to connect, discover the device. But with this, you open the case with a W1 chip, it's able to recognize the AirPods, and you're pretty much set to go. Then from there, every single time you actually open the case, it'll actually even show, like right now you can see that it says AirPods, the battery life of the AirPods, and also the battery life of the case. Okay, so just to demonstrate again, I just open it up. So now it actually even has my name there saying that they are Daliso's AirPods. And yeah, what you can also see is that the case, it'll even tell you the battery percentage when you close it. It'll hide the battery percentage. This is actually a widget that you can find on the today screen. But yeah, another thing would be that now you can see that the AirPods are there, but you won't be able to do anything because they're not connected. But if I open it up, let's just see. Okay, yeah, you can see that now it is connected. The default behavior for the double tap would be Siri. I'm not really a fan of that. I generally switch it to just play and pause. Then also automatic air detection. So you see these black dots, which are actually on the outside. It's very nifty when I really can't describe it, but when you're listening to music, you take one of the AirPods out, it pauses the music. And then when you put it back in, it resumes the music. So for instance, maybe there might be that one colleague in the office, if you do use these in the office, that's shouting or whatever, you take one out, you don't even have to pause. It pauses automatically, you put it back in, and often it resumes automatically. Then you also see there's an option for the mic. So there's actually a mic on either one of these same AirPods. I might as well just take one of them out. The whole case is somewhat magnetic, so even the AirPods, when you put them in the case, it magnetically just goes back in. And also when closing the case as well, it has a nice clicky feel to it. Yeah, so you can actually see that you can actually decide which side you want. The mic actually forms a beam at the bottom. So that can be either from the left or the right one. Cool. So moving right along, I think one of the other features that I'll necessarily just show you is the Find My iPhone feature. So for instance, maybe you might have misplaced your AirPods. Okay, so like right now you can see that of course these things don't have a GPS, but yeah, so right now it's showing that the location is quite nearby. When I click on these, I can actually just play a sound. Takes a bit of time. Okay, not too sure if you can actually hear that. Yeah, so it gets audibly loud. I would suggest not doing this with the things in your ear, but you can hear this from quite a distance. This only works when you have the AirPods outside of the case. So I'm not too sure if you'll be klutzy to actually have it outside of the case, considering that the case is quite small. I'll actually just stop playing it. But yeah, that is pretty much one of the features that they added. I think, an iOS version update later. So quite a lot of the features that you do see now are different from what actually came out with 1.0 of the AirPods. So yeah, as in, if you want to locate where your AirPods are, you can actually do that, like all your other Apple devices that are under the Find My iPhone feature. Double tap feature, what necessarily happens is that I just double tap and you can see that Siri actually activates in the background. You say whatever you want into Siri, and then she interprets whatever it is. Of course, she's just not going to understand what I'm saying because I'm just saying so much. Anyway, so you can actually see this. That's how it necessarily works. Same thing even when I double tap to play and resume music. But yeah, that's pretty much the functionality that you have with that feature. So just to show you, I'll just be putting this in, and just to show you my phone as well. Can it show you? Yes, it can show you that one of them is currently in the case and the other one is actually charging. So yeah, pretty nifty. It doesn't fall out of your ears so easily. You can jump up and down. I'm not going to be doing a video of me doing that, but you just have to believe me, as in if I'm going to be running up and down hills, it actually stays in, so no worries on that part. And the nifty thing as well is that you don't have to use both at the same time if you don't want to. So hey, you can consider charging one for like 15 minutes. It's, I think, reaches around like 40%, which is quicker than what I used to get with the Jaybos. I had to plug in the Jaybos. I don't actually have them with me. Those things also died after around like 2 years or so. But hey, RIP, they were good headphones. But yeah, that's pretty much it. When it comes to playing music, I might as well just show you as to how you go about doing that on your iPhone. To show a typical use case, I'll be using Spotify, my favorite music player, Apple Music. Hey, I'll probably leave that for a while, but hey, you've got it here. You've got Spotify. When I tap on that, okay, you can see Lost in the World by Kanye West. And you can see that my AirPods are reconnected. But if, for example, for whatever reason it doesn't pop up, you just tap there. You can actually even see as to the battery life. You can even switch back to your phone if you want to listen through your phone. So I'll just play. So right now it is actually playing in my ear. I'll just take one of them out. You can see that it actually has paused. I'll put it right in again. And yeah, it continues. So I'll just take it out again. And let's just see if I can actually just play and then put up the volume. I'm not too sure how loud it would be for you guys to hear. Yeah, I'm hoping that you guys can actually hear that. But yeah, I'll just put that back in and then just take it out so at least it pauses. So yeah. With that, what you can do is that you don't necessarily need to use both at the same time. But yeah, a very nifty case that you can just keep in your pocket. And most likely you also are wondering, what is this button here? So this button is actually used if you want to repair the AirPods. So maybe these aren't actually your AirPods. You can actually just pair them back, right at the back. Probably people might be asking, but what if, for example, someone steals your AirPods? It's pretty much like if someone stole your other Bluetooth headphones or your pricey Sennheisers. It's the same story. They can always just reconnect to the device through Bluetooth. So that isn't much of a train smash. The one thing you have to note for the auto pause feature, you do have to have both AirPods in. So if, for example, you take out the one, it will actually just disconnect the Bluetooth connection. And then when you put it back in, you have to just press play again for it to function once more. But yeah, let me just get back to settings again, just to show you what it actually does look like when, yeah, I'm already on the AirPods. Yeah, so you've got a variety of options here. So before these weren't actually available, it was only Siri. And to be quite frank, Siri does suck. Sorry about that. But there's the play, pause, which I usually have it on. So for example, maybe you might be running and you prefer to actually have it mapped that on your left you can change the track, and then on your right you can actually pause the track, or even go to the previous track. It's all up to you. But the nice thing about any of these same options is that you can actually control this functionality on the Apple Watch. If you guys are keen on me doing a review on that, I can also do that as well. But yeah, as in, again, like with the microphone, of course, if you set it on right and the right is not in your ear, I am not too sure if the mic would actually perform. But as far as it goes, it shouldn't necessarily just work on the one mic that is currently on the active AirPod if there's only one AirPod. So yeah, that is pretty much it. What else could I say is available for the AirPods? But yeah, battery life, as you can see, is currently on 100%. It's quite quick to charge one of these same AirPods, so no worries on that. And because if you're using iOS, it does necessarily connect through iCloud. You should be able to see your AirPods on any of your other iOS devices, such as your iPad, another iPhone, probably an iPod Touch if you are still using that, and also your MacBook. So with a MacBook, it's not as seamless as iOS when it comes to connecting, but it's pretty much straightforward. Even if, for example, like on iOS, if they're currently connected to my Mac, I just go there, switch it out, and often I can just tap on AirPods and it will automatically connect. Okay, so right now, let me just see. Okay, if I just tap on here. So yesterday, I was doing a review on the HomePod. I'll just try and connect back onto the Wi-Fi again and see if maybe this time round it will be able to stream over. And just to note, the AirPods are at least Bluetooth earphones. So compared to the HomePod that I did a review on, this was yesterday, or yeah, just the previous video, you would have been able to see that you aren't able to connect to the device if, for instance, you are not connected to the Wi-Fi. So like right now, I am actually connected to the Wi-Fi, so that's why I can see any of my AirPlay devices. So just to demonstrate anyway, at least you can see with the AirPods, it is quite quick for them to actually play to the device. But let's just see. Probably I might be able to hit straight into the HomePod today, and you might be able to hear it in the background. And yeah, you can see that it has actually connected and it is playing. So I think I was just being a bit impatient, but you can see the issue is the Wi-Fi connection. So like right now, it actually does sound like it's breaking up. But again, like I suggested, get closer to your Wi-Fi source and you would not necessarily have that issue. Again, these are the one product I actually do love. If I were to lose them, hey, I would actually get another set because, hey, they're just that good. But they're really not that hard to actually lose. What I can suggest is that if you're going to be like going onto a motorbike, it did actually happen to me, and you've got it on and you take it off, just be careful because Like for normal use, if I were running or whatever, they don't fall out. But if, for example, I've got something around my head, I think it's the same thing. If you've got a t-shirt and you've got your earphones in, you take your t-shirt off, most likely your earphones might actually come off with you as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Replacements for one of these, and even for the case, if you do lose them, that'll be $69. I would presume that they would not be covered by Apple Care because, yeah, they're like separate pieces compared to if it's like your phone, it drops, hey, you can get that replaced. But yeah, just be responsible when it comes to that part. Other than that, yeah, you can also use them with Android. What you just need to do is just press that button there. Yeah, I think that these are probably the best Bluetooth earphones that you can have. For example, playback is around 5 hours. The battery case can charge your AirPods for another 24 hours. And in pretty much like what I said, 15 minutes or so, you've already got your AirPods charged to a decent amount. And usually what I do is that I take one AirPod, put it back into the case, listen to be it an audiobook or music, then wait for it to actually reach like 100%, then take the other one out and then put it back into my ear and yeah, switch it out and you just wait for it to charge. So that's the nice thing about it compared to like your wired Bluetooth headphones. I think people don't realize that is that like with the Jaybirds that I had, they had a wire or whatever, but the only issue is that if you wanted to use them, you had to wait for the whole thing to charge. That is just one of those gripes. Other than that, I think the other feature that I did want to show was on the watch. So what I'll actually just do is just get myself onto the watch and show you as to what it actually looks like when something is playing, and you can actually adjust everything from the watch itself. As you can see, generally, so when you do have the watch on your wrist, you can actually see that your iPhone is connected. But even then, you can actually control the volume of the AirPods through there. And yeah, you can actually skip tracks. So I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a feature that you have with the watch itself because it's actually controlling the iPhone. But yeah, you also see that, for instance, right here, if, for example, you were to just run outside and you don't want to carry your phone, you can actually connect directly onto your phone. And yeah, again, it's an Apple thing. You would not necessarily be able to use any other app other than this is what, Apple Music. Yeah, that is right there. Cool. And that's Find My Friends. Okay, let me just try and look at my watch from the side. But yeah, you can see that I've got some Drake there. I can just tap back and I can actually be playing whatever it is. Yeah, Craig David. Yeah, some Frank Ocean. So like for instance, you can see that I'm playing some Frank Ocean. Let me just put down the volume because it is blaring in my ears. If you tap there, yeah, you can decrease it and increase it. But I think for most people, it would be easier for you to just use the scroll wheel that I do right there. If you tap there, you can actually see the playlist, and literally everything actually happens through your earphones. So if you actually had multiple earphones, I think when you tap here, you can actually see the variety of sources. But currently, I can tell you that it is playing through my ears. But yeah, anyway, that's it for the Apple Watch. Hopefully, you got the gist as to how it actually even integrates with this as well. For now, most likely this would be the other Apple product you might have. You might have the Apple TV, but I don't have that for the time being to actually play around with. But what you can see is that if you go to Bluetooth, Jerry, so if you've paired it for the very first time, it will sync over iCloud and you should see it on all your devices. But if you decide to manually remove it and then try to add it again, you just have to manually add it back, but it isn't much of a train smash. So right now, you can see that currently, even under audio sources, there's nothing here. So what I'll actually be doing is that I'll just go to open Bluetooth preferences. This opens up this window here. And then I've got my AirPods. You have to put them back into the case in order to actually do the repairing again. So you can see that it has like a white light flashing. Yeah, so so you can see that it has actually picked it up. So what actually happens is that you just click on connect, and yeah, it's already connected. It's quite quick, and you should be sorted. So for instance, even when I go to audio sources, it should actually pop up after a while. I think it's probably just connected to the case for the time being, but it even shows you as to the percentage levels, so for the left and the right, and also the case. So I'll just pop one out right now. Yeah, as you can see, and yeah, connection failed. That was pretty much because of it being in the case whilst I was trying to connect. But once it's out, then it's able to connect properly. Again, you can do the same thing where you can use for double tap Siri. Again, not really a fan, but you can actually switch it to any of the other options that are there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, as to when you actually even have it probably paired, yeah, so what you can actually see is that it actually does pop up when it's connected over Bluetooth. So if you've got your AirPods paired to your phone at the time and you're listening through your phone, and now you're back on your MacBook, you can actually just tap on that there, and it will actually even pop up, and you can even see with those little icons there the battery percentage as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to using it on the Mac. And I think that'll be it for the review of the AirPods. If you have any other questions, just drop them in the comment section and I'll be able to answer to them as soon as possible.